Get this stuff into them as soon as possible, so I submitted to this redheaded gentleman here. Is that okay if I call you Red? Sure. Okay.
Red.
Scott. Okay, Scott. Well, guess what? You know, since this thing has basically been around since 1969, there's a new kid in town. And the new kid's name is Inland Energy Center, which is an alternate to this need. And if anybody's been on Highway 74 to Romeland, the project's already built. It's making electricity. And there is no need for the leaps or for this transmission line. I want to demonstrate you something. This is the line that facility had to go ahead and connect to a substation. This line represents 1 mile. You could take the other end of that. This line here represents the transmission line coming from Camp Pendleton through the communities of 32 miles. This one's already in service. It's on a flat facility, no fire danger. It's up and running. That project cost $5.5 million. We don't even know what this project's going to be. We were told a few years ago that the LEAPS project, along with the lines, was over $1 billion. So the thought is, folks, there's a new kid in town. Unfortunately, someone was asleep at the switch. We had a president by the name of George Bush, the first Bush, and he came up with this phrase: a good idea or a bad idea. What do you think we'd say about this plan?
Bad.
And again, I'm afraid to say that what's happened is that they're a day late and a dollar short, folks. Again, I think everybody needs to go out there and look at that facility out there. It's pretty impressive. Plus, they have one plant that's basically running 1 unit right now, and they have room to double the facility. So there'll actually be 4 units making, I believe, pretty close to 1,600 megawatts of electricity out there. Pretty impressive.
Pockets come into town. Murdoch, who screwed us over on Lake Street, big time. And everybody's afraid of him. But we're not.
We're told that we have a lot of people that are smart on this commission, and I know that we have a lot of smart people that are putting in for this application, such as Ben Wick and the hydroelectric people. Now, I happen to know Ben Wick since 1975 when we worked at Kaiser. He was instrumental in making the demise of Kaiser Steel. People at Hydroelectric all work for Enron. It was a scam, and it's still going on. And no matter how you spell it, they haven't changed their colors. It's still a scam.
Birds of a feather flock together. It's like here in Nelson.
Mike Air.
Yeah, I'm going to be kind of quick here, but the idea to put in a large power line across the top of a ridge that, you know, all firefighters fight on ridges. You're going to handicap their ability to take care of people's homes and property on that ridge. And so, according to this plan, you guys care more for hang gliders than actual property owners. Thank you very much.
Jonathan Evans.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jonathan Evans. I'm here on behalf of the Center for Biological Diversity and our 35,000 members throughout the U.S., as well as our over 10,000 members in California, and members who would be directly impacted by this project. thanks to the CPUC staff and ESA staff for coming tonight, but more importantly, thank all of you for coming and attending this meeting and getting engaged. This is the only way we're going to kill this project. So I encourage you all not only to just come tonight, but stay engaged, submit written comments if you are interested in getting engaged, not just in the CEQA process, but the CPUC process, which deals with more of the electrical need. Engage with some of the people who have intervened in the proceeding. The Center for Biological Diversity has, Frontlines has, Friends of the Forest has. Get engaged with them, or file your own motion to intervene in the proceeding. This is the only way we're going to really fight this project. But in terms of substance, I want to just make 2 points, and I'll try and be brief. The impacts to wildlife and sensitive ecological communities from this project is severely grave. It would have a permanent and irrevocable impact on the communities surrounding the Santa Ana Mountains, Cleveland National Forest, San Mateo Canyon Wilderness, as well as the Margarita Peak Preserve, and ecological life within those preserves. The TEVS power lines and associated hydroelectric dam would also impact several species listed under the Endangered Species Act, and full take authority is required for impacts to those species. The project will also destroy hundreds of acres of rare plant communities and our native grasslands, oak woodlands, as well as chaparral. It is critical the environmental review process analyze all proposed power line routes through surveys for sensitive wildlife, all proposed the site infrastructure, including the site of the electric dam, including all roads that will be built as part of the project, and anything else associated with the project. The other main point I'd like to talk about is alternatives tonight, and I think it's really critical that CEQA, the California Environmental Quality Act, requires the development of feasible alternatives to address the project. And we've heard some people make references to other alternatives that will not require the destruction of our national forests and our wildlife. Unfortunately, the purpose and need put forward in the notice of preparation is improperly narrow. Essentially, what has happened is they put forward only a project objectives and purpose and need that would meet the project as proposed. Essentially, they proposed the objectives that could only be met by the TEVS power line project and the dam. And that, I think, is a violation of what the California Environmental Quality Act requires in terms of rigorous analysis of alternatives. The Nevada Hydro Company believes the only way to solve the problem of increased energy reliability is by building new pump storage, new power lines, and power substations. The CPUC doesn't have to buy this false proposal. There are better ways to deal with energy efficiency, with energy reliability, and that are better for the environment and better for ratepayers. The problem is energy reliability, not a lack of dams and power lines. California has plenty of those already. The Nevada Hydro Company recklessly chose the most environmentally destructive route for this project and ignored important opportunities to increase renewable energy, energy efficiency, implement smart grid technology, and avoid destroying wildlife habitat. We need to tell the Nevada Hydro Company to support clean renewable energies that won't destroy the environment. As I referenced earlier, this project in 2008, 2005 dollars was over $1 billion of ratepayer money, of your money, of my money. There are better ways to build energy reliability projects that don't destroy the environment, and we can tell the CPUC and Nevada Hydro there are better ways to do this. Thank you.
Susie.
After him, I'm just going to sound like a silly woman, but as my husband always calls me a crazy woman, because I always look at, I always am concerned with health issues. And living near high voltage power lines certainly is also going to cause health issues and reduce property values. And they said to keep the comments to the power lines, but yet Nevada Hydro is paying for them to be here. So that's LEAPS. LEAPS is just out, it's a moneymaker for Nevada Hydro. If they have to pump water up the mountain, yes, they're going to do it at night when it costs less or when demand is lower, which is the same as it costing less. Run it down when demand is higher, when it costs more. So It's just about them making money, because if they're using energy to pump it up, it's not clean energy. You know, there's beautiful hydroelectric plants in Washington State and many places which have natural bodies of water that run down to produce the energy. It's not clean energy if you have to pump the water up. So that's
Nobody's talking about the lake, effects on the lake.
Good evening, everyone. I, as many of you, has been involved in this process for going back to when Enron proposed it originally. And I recognize a lot of the people here, and I know everyone here is as passionate in particular about the LEAPS project as I am. However, it's my understanding that the CPUC is primarily here. We understand the tie-ins of the LEAPS, of course, with the power lines. But if my understanding is correct, they're here to study the proposed power lines, which then would be tied into the LEAPS project, which would make that possible. I think that I might suggest that our comments be directed towards the environmental issues, which is the EIR, which I believe that this is the process that's to begin, and try to focus on stopping the power lines, because if we stop the power lines, we stop the LEAPS project. Well, one of the environmental issues I haven't heard brought up yet is the fire danger created by the power lines. I believe, I don't have the statistics, but as many of us that live in California know, many of the major fires in Southern California in the last 10 years have been caused by downed power lines. I'd like to see those figures, but I believe it may be as many as 7 out of 10. I live in the San Mateo Canyon wilderness, and I can tell you that if a fire starts along the ridge during the Santa Ana wind season, that fire is likely to burn all the way to the ocean. Now, as did the Laguna and the Malibu fires in the mid-90s, because there is nothing between the ridge up above Lake Elsinore and the coast until it confronts San Clemente, San Juan Capistrano, Dana Point, and all the other surrounding communities. The Forest Service, I believe their policy in the wilderness is to no motorized equipment. They are forbidden by law, I believe, I could be wrong, but typically they cannot bring equipment into the wilderness, which means it's relatively a let-it-burn containment type policy. We know when there's 50-mile-an-hour Santa Ana winds, those fires are unstoppable. That brings up another question about Orange County, which Gene Frick mentioned. There should be a meeting there, because those are the people who will be, aside from us that live in the rural areas, those communities are the ones that will be subjected to this firestorm. Other issues regarding Orange County is also that with the LEAPS project, is the watershed from the LEAPS project in Decker Canyon, it doesn't come down to Lake Elsinore. It's in the Santa Margarita Water District, which goes to Orange County. Now, we know that those dams fail. We know there's no way they can prevent the canyon from leaking. When you're pumping all of that water up from Lake Elsinore, it's got heavy metals. You're going to be polluting pristine aquifers that have been there for millions of years, and it's going to go all the way to the ocean. Also, regarding the burying part of the power lines, if you can designate one section to accommodate the hang gliders, why can't all of these other people be considered? There's homeowners, there's the communities, there's all of these other different, if you can bury part of it, why can't you bury it all? Thank you.